doing something this year very special. Tell me what you think about this idea. So we coming up with 3 colors, either on a wristband or in your badge, because I want to know when I talk to each person what kind of person you're. Similar to when I got this idea from early COVID days. People were doing events. It's like, are you for hugs?
Yeah.
Or are you against? And I want to know if you're sober, if you're trying not to drink a lot, or you're a party animal.
Yeah.
And we're not going to judge anyone, but you know, if you're like, for example, let's say a red color represents, you know, I'm trying to keep it to 2, you know, beers. I'm trying not to drink. And I know this, I'm not gonna invite you, because what's happening is there are people who are trying not to drink, who are trying to be responsible, but they do have problem. They go to Las Vegas, they see people, they see beer stands, because, you know, vendors asking to have a beer stand, and I have no problem with it. I mean, you're gonna do event in Las Vegas, it's everywhere.
It's gonna be here.
But if you have someone who is publicly saying, hey, I'm sober, you know, like in, you know, at least for the conference. And we actually, like, I remember last year, I opened with that. I said, guys, try to drink after second day.
If you have a drinking problem, don't drink tonight, wait till tomorrow. Appreciate that. Thank you.
Because there are people who will never make it to second day of the conference. They'll come back Thursday, they go out all night, and they're one-day conference guys. That's how I call them. And I say, you can drink, but try to limit to 3-4 drinks, because tomorrow we have amazing speakers. At least don't ruin this conference. I mean, there's a lot of stuff, and they're gonna regret it, and many people do. I remember I attended one, it was a drone training event, full day training. The guy paid $400 to attend. I took one of my guys there, and he flew in night before, went hard, never made it to the training. Just like that. He flew to the city to get the training. And night before, they went party with the people who were doing the training, never came back.
We had that at our one of our last commercial roofing academies. They flew in from Chicago. He brought 5 guys, paid a lot of money, and they all went out the night of the meet and greet. They all went out that night. And I'm telling you, 3 of them were so sick the next day, they couldn't even come to class the second day. Wasted all their money.
But I mean, think about opportunity. Think about the money they wasted from not attending, but the money that they wasted, you know, the stuff they could learn and apply. Because that's what's happening. I mean, 2 days at the conference, like 6 months in college. You know, you meet one person, you get one idea, you come back and implement it, you double your business.
I got a question for you though. I mean, because you do conferences and you've been to a ton of conferences. How many people you think actually go to a conference to learn versus people that just come because it's in Vegas or it's in Orlando or it's in Nashville, right? Like how many people you think don't even care about learning at a conference?
It really depends on the conference and event. So I try to attend outside of the industry events. So like I go to YouTube conferences, I go to Marketing World in Cleveland where all the big marketers, like every conference is different. Roofing is, I would say, something like SVG, 80% of people come to party.
At least.
At least. You know, if you take YouTube conference, 90% comes to network. You know, like you see very few people who might have problem with alcohol, and you see them at the bar all the time. But I would say 90% it's true. It really depends, because I mean, like for example, you imagine 1,000 YouTubers, creators, you know, people who runs their business and they're excited about it, they want to learn from each other. It's freaking amazing. It's like I'm fascinated by the culture. Or if you go to, I mean, everybody parties everywhere, but you will see different energy. If you go to like Cleveland, 4,000 people attends there. Biggest agencies, biggest people in the marketing world, like, you know, Coca-Cola teams who markets for them. Yes, they will party, but it's different. I would say it's our industry is so bad because our leadership is so bad. Because people who organize it, in Russia we say that fish is rotting from its head. So think about this. Our manufacturers want to get you drunk at every event. So you go to any expo, so there's welcome parties. You actually get to pick, am I getting drunk at OC
right? Or Malarkey or wherever.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So like I was walking by today, Malarkey has beer stand, and I have no problem with it. But if Malarkey has a beer stand, JF has a beer stand, someone else has a beer stand, by the time you finish the line, you have 4 beers. That's more than enough.
Yeah.
And you didn't even walk the whole show yet. I mean, it took me today from 1 o'clock to 4, 3 hours, just walk with no stops. I mean, you would be halfway, and if you drink at every step, it's 8, 9 beers. So when you have industry like that, and what's crazy is I try to do business with VP of marketing firm. You know, you take $1 billion company and you try to come and network with them. I'm talking about, like you say, you try for them to invest in you, support you, right? You cannot get anybody to reply to your email because they're drunk. Their highest level people are drunk. So what do you want or ask for a roofer who barely is making it, who's stressed, when most successful? And it goes to ABC Supply, Beacon, SRS, supplier. It's in every level of our industry.
Yep.
I mean, what do we want? We set that example, and nobody's willing to change.
That's a great point, man. It was a really great point. When you were talking about that, I started thinking about, do you think because in our industry, of all industries that I know, I feel like the roofing industry has more type A personalities in it?
Maybe.
I mean, I have no data behind that, right?
Yeah, of course.
But to me, it appears that the roofing industry has more type A personalities. And so when you're dealing with type A personalities, you're dealing with a lot of ego, right? And so I'm just kind of wondering, because it is an issue, because I also have been to different industry events, and it's not like it is here. It's not like it is in the roofing industry. It's just like complete, almost debauchery, you know. And it does start at like the top of, and the leadership. You take, you know, and I'm not whatever. I mean, I've been kicked out of all the SVG groups, whatever. And I'm not trying to trash them, but this is a fact. When the leader of SVG, when you go to the last conference I went to, what's he doing? He's getting hammered. He's running around with not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 women that probably were paid for. I don't know. Like, but that's the leadership. And you see that, and you're a new guy coming into the industry, and you don't know any better. And you're looking at that probably looks pretty appealing to a lot of people, right?
That's the culture, and that's unfortunately that's what we get with the Instagram. That's the lifestyle we sell. You know, we sell
Dan Bilzerian.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. That's what. But we get to pick which leaders we want. That's why when I start my thing, like I didn't want to be part of it, so I bring leaders that, you know. And it doesn't matter how much I like some speakers. If I see them everywhere, I want a different crowd. That's why we brought Marcus Lemonis. I bring people who are #1, like in business, to learn from them, to be like true role models. You know, for me, like, you know, Patrick Bet-David or Marcus Lemonis, Marcus Sheridan, people who are knowing, they have such a core values. Like every speaker that I pick, like, I mean, when you put Wolf of Wall Street on the stage, that sends message. And again, this is who you are.